Hello, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sadi, and you're watching another episode of Fireside Chat here on Sinar Daily TV. And so today we're speaking to a guest who has been invited to religious departments, government agencies, private universities, churches across countries in Middle East and Southeast Asia. And so, without further ado, let me introduce you to our distinguished guest, founder, CEO, trainer, organizer here at Tarbiyah Dawah Center, Mr. Lim Tuisun. How you doing today, sir?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. What about you?
So good. It's an honor
Yeah.
to be here with you finally in person. So, you ready?
Yep. Please.
Okay. So, to kickstart, could you just briefly explain the central theme of this year's Straight Path Convention on Al-Wahan, desiring dunya, belittling hereafter?
I think the main theme for this convention, I think we want to give awareness to the people, the Muslim, that so that they are balanced, dunya and akhirat, and no doubt that a lot of people are focused on the dunya, but very little on akhirat. Okay, we need to know the cause of the problem first before we go into that. Okay, like what the Prophet Muhammad SAW said, if you want the dunya, you need to have knowledge. If you want the akhirat, you need to have knowledge. But the problem here is, if you want to have both, the Prophet said you need to have knowledge. But the question here is, the Muslim today, they are knowledge. Okay, they have more knowledge on the dunya or more knowledge on the akhirat. So that's the reason why maybe they focus a lot on the dunya. But in order for them to be able to focus on the akhirat, I think there's one step that we need to do. One something that we need to know is that they need to understand the religion. They need to be excited about the religion, because only when they have the knowledge about the religion, the iman grow, and then the practice, meaning that the focus, then we'll start to focus more on akhirat. But if you don't focus on the knowledge, and this is the problem, we always focus on the amal, meaning the practice. But the practice will never go better, will never improve, not until you improve the fundamental understanding of Islam, to make them their akidah is ready. Then only easy for then once the akidah is strong, the knowledge is increases, then what will happen? The imans grow, and then the practice will come naturally. So I think I realize that a lot of Muslim today, we are mostly a Muslim by name, or we are Friday Muslim, or sometimes we are just Eid holidays, during the Eid celebration, so we are Muslim. But the problem is now, I think, is all the ustads, the ustazah. We must approach people like this and make them excited, make them interested to learn about Islam, excited to learn about Islam. Then only when their understanding grow, automatically the thing will take place. The problem today is that the approach that we use today, the Muslim, I would say that the approach that we use, we like to talk a lot about do and don'ts. All right, we talk very little about the akidah and the approach as well. We do not make Islam a cool religion, fun religion, an interesting religion, but instead of we make them Islam like very, very narrow thinking, like many people that do not, when they learn about Islam, they themselves have questions, but they dare not ask, because the moment you ask this question, the ustad will say something wrong with your akidah. So the approach actually. So yeah, if you ask me about people focus a lot about the dunya, that's simply because they do not feel excited, they do not feel interested to learn about Islam, because the approach. So for me, it's the cause of the problem is to make them excited, to make them interested to learn about the religion, and then you can settle the problem. Wallahu alam.
With endless rapid change surrounding the human civilization, and so what would you say to Muslims today who would, call themselves busy or constantly on the go to, find that balance between their dunya and their akhirah?
Well, again, I think in this one we go back to the fundamental. You see, I always tell people about this. This is very important. Most people, they are not focusing about the akhirat. Most Muslim, put it that way. I think they need to go back to the basic. For example, remember Allah revealed the Quran to Prophet Muhammad SAW. Initially, was revealed in Mecca for 13 years. Later part in Medina for about 10 years. Now, if you were to look at the 13 years in Mecca, all the verses was revealed to Prophet Muhammad SAW. Majority of it is about Aqidah. Right? For 13 years.
Yeah.
And later on, when the Aqidah is ready, they migrate to Yathrib, that is Medina, and only Allah reveal all the verses. The verse talk about the do and don'ts, the fiqh. Now, if you were to take it as a guideline, I think it's easy for people to understand Islam. For example, the 13 years. Most of the ayat talk about Aqidah. Why Allah don't talk about do and don'ts for the first 13 years? Because it's just like when you build a building, a high-rise building, what do you build? The wall or the ceiling? Or the pillar first? It's the pillar. So the 13 years is about the pillar. But the problem is, when a high-rise building, you don't build a pillar properly, and then you started to build the wall, the ceiling, even the interior design. What will happen to the building? It can collapse anytime. So this is a problem. So we are focused about the Aqidah. I have no time to talk about example, but maybe during the convention, I will give you the example. So what happened is that today we talk a lot about the do and don'ts. That's why people, the Muslim, they are not interested to come for any Islamic program. They are not interested to go to the mosque. They find that, these people, when we go there, there's always something wrong with your hair. This is not right. Something wrong with the way you dress. We focus on do and don'ts. This is a problem. If you were to look at the time of the Prophet Muhammad SAW, in Mecca for the 13 years, many of the companions, even though they already embraced Islam, but they're still drinking alcohol. But Allah doesn't make it haram. The Prophet never make it haram. Why? Because they're in the progress of building the foundation. Until when the foundation is strong, when they migrate to Medina, then only Allah reveal the do and don'ts bit by bit for the duration of 10 years. For example, let me give one example. In Mecca, they're still drinking. Allah doesn't make it haram. Allah only educate. You see, alcohol, little bit benefit, more harm. Don't approach for prayer when you're in a state of drunk. Allah is educating. Allah doesn't make it haram. So the first 13 years, there's no haram. 14, 15, 16, 17. Until the year 17, when Allah reveals Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter number 5, verse number 90, then only Allah make it haram. And the companion stop drinking alcohol. What I'm trying to say is that most of us, when our approach towards the Muslim, we like to focus on do and don't. We expect them to already know about Islam. No, that is not true. Most of them, they know very surface, and they do not learn much about Islam. So there's a problem. So we focus about the end result. No, I focus about the cause of the problem. How to build the cause of the problem. Then only you will have good result. Wallahu alam, brother.
For either those who are still lacking knowledge, or like perhaps maybe for you as a revert, if I may use that term,
Okay.
what are some of the misconceptions about Islam that you personally had come across?
From the reverts or from the non-Muslim?
I mean, yeah, from any such, before you finally embrace, the religion.
Okay. There are so many misconceptions, so many to talk. We can talk about the women's issue, misconception. You talk about the terrorism and another misconception. You talk about scriptures interpretation. Okay, there's a lot of when you read the Quran, I read the Quran. If a non-Muslim read the Quran, the angle that they understood the Quran different from you. You won't question. Sometimes even looks like illogical, but you won't question. For them, there were questions. It's just like, for example, the Prophet Muhammad said, he said, "Ihdina siratal mustaqim." Every time when he do his prayer, okay, he reads Surah Al-Fatiha. But for you, this ayat, it means show us the right way, the straight path. For you, there's no problem, right? But for the non-Muslim, who was a Christian, it's a problem. Why? Because he keep asking Allah to show him the right way, the straight path. This is to show that what? To show that he didn't know the way. Even from the first prayer until the last prayer before he died, he's still asking Allah to show him the right way, the straight path. Right?
Yeah.
This is a problem. This is a problem. Unlike Jesus Christ, in the Gospel of John chapter 14 verse number 6, Jesus Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man can come to the Father but by me. Jesus Christ know the way, know the truth, know the life. But he says like Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he didn't know the way. He kept asking Allah to show him the way. Now, which one is a true prophet, which one is a false prophet? So, question like this, or some question more technical. More technical, but usually you never hear people ask this question, but this is the modern questions. It's a contemporary questions. Like for example, the Quran in Surah Al-Anbiya chapter 21 verse 30 talk about every living thing is made of water. Right? For you, no problem, right? But for the non-Muslim, problem. Why? Because every living thing is made of water means what? Every creation of Allah have life, have soul, have life, or have life in made of water. Am I right? Created from water. Right? Yeah. But the question here is, the jinn. Jinn is created from what?
Fire.
Fire. But the Quran says every living thing is made of water. Don't you think that is contradiction? The angels is created from?
Light.
Light. But the problem is Allah says in the Quran, every living thing is made of water. Now this is another question that normally people will ask. If you read Surah At-Tawbah, chapter number 9, verse number 30, Allah says in the Quran, the Jew, they call Uzayr son of Allah. Okay? Christian, they call Jesus son of Allah. For you, when you read this ayat, no problem. But for the non-Muslim, for the Jew, big problem. Why? The Christian call Jesus son of Allah. This is a normal thing. It's a norm. Everyone know. You read the Bible, you read all the scholars written by the Christian scholars, no problem. They agree that Jesus is son of God. But is there any scholar from the Jews say that Uzayr is son of Allah? No. The Jews believe there's only one God. Allah is the creator. They don't believe God have a son. But the Quran is accusing them. Right? It's accusing. The Jews, they say Uzayr is the son of Allah. Don't you think that this is, you accuse other religion? And does it happen? No, the Jew doesn't believe that. So my question to you is, now they're going to ask you, so what Quran is saying something that which is not true. So how can you believe that the Quran is the words of God? And these are the contemporary questions. But if you want those common questions like people, I used to, before Islam, I used to know about people that Prophet Muhammad SAW had many wives. People used to call him sex maniac, na'uzubillah. People call him, he married a very young girl. Aisha radiallahu anha is mentioned in Sahih Bukhari at the age of 6, for example. And he asked the companion to divorce his wife. When the verse Surah An-Nisa chapter number 4, number 3 was revealed, but he himself, he kept all his wife. He doesn't divorce his wife. So we look at it, it's not fair. He's lying to the companions, because the command for Allah is for all, but he himself do not follow. Okay? And there are many more. When I was a Christian, we always talk about how the Quran was copied from the Bible. Okay? Particularly from the Old Testament, 75%. But I do not have anyone that will be able to explain to me. You know those times when I started to study about comparative study? I have question. I have to call one of the lecturer in UIA. She's expert in comparative religion, teaching in UIA. So Dr. Kamal Onia, if you know her. And I got some answer. I started to contact Sheikh Ahmad Didat. I called, to South Africa. Those times, we don't have smartphone, public phone, Yeah. I had to change a lot of 50-cent coin. Wow. And my friend, his job is just to put coin one by one. Then I started to ask questions. There are so many questions actually asked by the non-Muslim, and I noticed that the Muslim do not put in effort to know and try to find answer. And some even know some answer, but they thought that that answer is good enough. No. And we have to keep improve the answer. I always tell people that the best answer is always killed by the good answer. If you think that this answer is good enough, you won't search for a better answer anymore. So the best answer killed by the good answer. So there are many misconceptions. But if you want me to give example about the answer, you let me know. Otherwise, yeah, I'll just give you some these are the questions that commonly asked. Yeah, or I myself have about towards Islam.
I beg your pardon. I don't recall, but I definitely read or come across somewhere that da'wah is an art. And so, which I figured, one of the possible interpretations of that is that da'wah is something that you need to be doing for, over a period of time to improve and get better at. And so, da'wah being an interaction between two or more individuals, definitely, are bound to come with challenges. And so, could you share some of the challenges from your very own experience?
Challenge of da'wah, or talk about da'wah just now? Because the interpretation of da'wah, many people are different.
Ooh.
All right. Now, see, a lot of people, they do not involve in da'wah simply because one problem, they misinterpret the word da'wah. Once you get the right definition, then everything is easy. If you don't get the right definition, everything becomes difficult. When talk about to do da'wah or to give da'wah, first you need to understand the definition means. The definition of da'wah. I do not mean what's the meaning of da'wah. What I'm trying to say is that da'wah, when you talk about the definition, means that you do da'wah according to your situation. Do what you can and do your best. That is da'wah. So you don't compare you and me or you and him. No. Do according to your situation. If you're a housewife, you do da'wah as a housewife. If you're selling fruits or food at the roadside, you do da'wah that way. So if you're a teacher, you do da'wah as a teacher. What I'm trying to say is that do according to your situation. Not everybody can talk, right? A lot of people, they can serve well, they can show a very good example. They practice the religion, and people can see Islam from them. So what I'm trying to say is that as long as you do according to your situation, you do your best, you can even score higher marks than the great scholar who giving speech throughout the world, because Allah will judge you according to whether you have done your best or not. So I'm not talking that I'm not telling you that you have to do this, have to do that, but you can do da'wah in various ways. There's so many ways. Da'wah bil hal, bil mal, bil kitab, bil lisan, and blah 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 blah. But I personally have I used the word invent a technique of da'wah to non-Muslim. This is the most contemporary, and probably you don't see it elsewhere in the world because I invented it. And this technique, I will present it during the convention. All right, and believe me, this is something that will be very unique. Why? Because most of the time when you want to give da'wah, you want to make sure that the non-Muslim accept what you say. Right? You want to tell them to believe in God, believe in the Creator, there's only one God, things like that. You see, there's a lot of approach that, for me personally, I prefer the words come out from their mouth instead of from me. Wow. So the argument, the approach that I'm using is that all come from them, from the non-Muslim, all come from them. And it's so easy to make them understand what is La ilaha illallah. The theory is easy, but to make them understand, and after that short discussion, and believe me, after this, okay, we already convey the message that how to know who is God, who is not God, who is divine, who is not divine, who is the creator, who are the creation. You'll be able to differentiate. Very clear. Yeah.
And so, in regards to the subject that you will be covering at the upcoming convention, unleashing the Ummah's ability. So, what can visitors or listeners expect to take away from the slide?
Well, number one is to create the awareness about our responsibility to convey the message of Islam according to your situation. But not, it's a lot of people, we tell people we need to do da'wah, but you must understand everybody come from different level. The awareness about doing da'wah. And I will give a simplest way of conveying the message, easy way of conveying the message. You see, a lot of people thought that it is difficult. You know, I can make anyone who come for the program, start from now, in 1 month time, you get about few hundred reverts, people embrace Islam. You have to share in it. What do you think?
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, you can you'll be able to achieve that, and you'll be able to achieve bigger than that. I will give you easy way out, but the problem is a lot of when we talk about da'wah, we don't cover every different level of people, different kind of people. How to make them be able to, how to make them, oh, that simple? Yes. That's how you can. This how you contribute. This is what you can. This is what you will get. Yes. Once I give you the solution. Yeah. So hopefully that all of us who come for this program, we can gain some information, some knowledge, some awareness, some new information, and the most important thing is that start from that time that this convention, I believe that every one of us will involve in da'wah. The most important will involve in da'wah according to your situation. Wallahu alam.
Reminds me of a verse from the Quran. If I remember correctly, something like وَقُلْ يَعْمَلُوا عَلَى مَكَانِكُمْ إِنِّي عَامِلٌ. So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for sparing your time and sharing your insight. You know, I'm pretty sure our audience find this discussion deeply enriching. And so, for more episodes of such quenching discussions, please, you know, follow us, Sinar Daily, across all of our social pages, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Catch our videos, like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you won't miss any of our content. Again, I'm Sadi from Sinar Daily with Mr. Lim Tui Soon, signing off. Assalamu alaikum.